So today, folks, we're in a 2012 Bass Tracker 175 GWX Pro. And we are trying to install the Humminbird Helix 10 right here. And so I've taken a couple screws out already. There's 4 screws there and a couple hidden ones in the carpet. Your boat may differ, obviously. And I have the Lowrance old units right here, which are the power and the data part of it. So first thing I'm going to do is yank out the transducer part of it from front to back, and it has a bunch of extra linear footage in here. So I'm going to put my service loop where it was before, which is right in here. And then I'm going to hopefully take this little panel off right here. And I'm going to follow the old route, which is down and around and over the back of the boat. So now I can yank that cord out from front to back, which is this one right here. So now that I have the old cord out, or mostly out, I'm going to grab the new cord from Humminbird, which is this lengthy guy, and a nice little end adapter right there. So unwind that, feed that through the same way the Lowrance was wired. So if your propeller moves counterclockwise as the boat moves forward, as you're facing the stern from behind, mount the transducer on the port side. Counterclockwise. No, mine moves clockwise. And 15 inches away. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mount this to here. And what I first tried to do was mount it this way, but that's wrong, so you got to mount it this way, and they actually make the holes offset, and I ended up drilling out holes that I didn't need to. But that's okay, shouldn't affect the product at all. Thread that in there just like that. It's just hand tight for everything. Make sure your little washers are on there. And then in the instructions, it says that this has to be parallel with the bottom of the boat. In order to do that, and as far over, it has to be level in both directions. And so it's parallel with the length of the boat hole with a slight downward angle of 5 degrees, so it kind of aims back under the boat, depending on which way it's sitting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this over the side here. And here's my little buddy, Copper. Is I have kind of a limited space to put this. Where it's not in the way. So my best spot would be kind of right there. So after reading the manual about 15 times, watching videos, and having someone else read it, you're supposed to cut this little thing out right here, which is this, which I can't seem to work, but my boat has. It says clear of any obstructions, and this only works when it's at trolling speed. So 3 to 5 miles an hour is what they said in the video, one of the videos. And you're really going by kind of this picture right here, so the bolt hole right there, and then that. So, and it needs to be clear of any obstruction. So if I mount it here, which is my old one was over there, which is mounted on the wrong side of the boat. So if your prop spins clockwise as you're staring at the stern, which mine does, that's pushing water, it needs to be in the starboard side because it makes more noise on that side, or causes more turbulence. So should be over here. I'm not going to use this as of right now. I'm going to use a pencil in the bracket. So the other thing, this bracket has to be perfectly level on all accounts. So if I put it, this surface should be level, obviously to the back of the boat here, the step. And the reason I'm putting it here, and it should be technically over here, is it's going to be in the jet stream no matter what I do, unless I reverse the bracket, and then that seemed to be in the way also. So I'm going to place it here. I'm going to drill some 5/32 holes. Test to see how far something is back there. So the other thing it says to do is mount everything with a marine grade adhesive. I use Goop, marine grade, silicone, UV resistant, all the above. It's probably $8 or something like that, but it's the best one I found. I used it in the front of my boat. Worked all summer long, worked great. Of course, you're always missing the last screw. So I went to my local hardware store near my work. They did not have this length that I needed, which I think is an inch, between my Humminbird head mount and my ram mount. So I went to my one right next to my house, J&L Hardware, who literally has everything I've ever needed. And I usually drive to Home Depot or Lowe's and go look for it, because I'm sometimes down that way anyways. And I come back and I stop there and they always have it, and it's usually around the same price. So I'm going to use number 10 Phillips head, 1032 by 1 inch. It depends on how long your thing is. So my goal was to not have a lot of it stick through. Number 10 washer, just like that. Another washer, and this displaces the pressure between the two. A split washer, which if you look real close, see what's actually split right there. So what that does, when you compress that, it adds pressure against the nut. So when it does that, it prevents the nut from backing out, so you don't lose your head unit flopping in the wind by its cables when you're going top speed. So I'm just going to lock that down. Well, leave it a little bit loose actually for right now. I'm going to do the rest of them. So this is going to be mounted right here where it was before, in these 4 holes, with some just normal, like, not machine screws, but some other type. And then my cord and my power bank will go right here. Unfortunately, I think my windshield is going to be in the way. Maybe, maybe not. It might be in the way, so I might have to loosen this quite a bit here and then jack it off to one side. So now that the unit is cured overnight, I've now mounted the 2 screws, nuts, and washers in there. Two washers per, stainless steel, of course. And it says you want to make this 5 degrees below, just parallel with the length of the boat hull. So in order to do that, put a stick on there, and it's parallel, so where it doesn't touch. So I can also adjust it later if I want to. I can pull that up a little bit so it's at the same angle, and it's half inch, I just had. So I'm just going to adjust that real quick. So here are the 2 zip ties, which I'm going to feed in one way and out the other. So make sure you coil it from both directions. So we're just going to make a nice little service loop right there for that. And that'll go in this. And I'm going to pull that right through there. And before I button this up, I'm going to make sure all my mounting is correct here and mount that unit along with the power cable. So I'm about to power up the unit, and I'll show you what I did real quick, since some of it wasn't the best video. So I wired positive to positive, negative to negative, checked the polarity with my multimeter, and ran the wire up and around out the top here. I have a battery plugged into it right now. So like another couple videos have said, got 5 pins, circular pattern, barn shaped. That goes there. Piece of cake, power cord, can't mess it up, doesn't fit anywhere else. That goes there. Moment of truth before I button everything else up is the power. Simply, clearly better. Let's see what we got. Pinging. So temperature's right. Let's so last but not least, got my connectors up here. Feed that extra back through, and I'll button that up after I know where I want to move things around to. And they made this very foolproof. Start it up. Now an alternate location might be where my cup holder is. Since there's only like 4 screws holding this, I'm not really happy with it. You can hear it start clicking. No GPS fix, probably because I'm in the garage still. And that's it. So the next video will be me on the lake.